Hey guys, it's Nick from this here. Today I have my first ever Dragon Ball article debunk video. Now, there's a handful of articles I've come across on this topic recently that are all pretty much the same, but I'll be specifically looking at CBR's article, Is Dragon Ball GT Canon? This applies to any of the articles that are similar, but I had to make this video to shut down this misconception. Let me make it very clear that I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball GT. I love the show and grew up watching it on TV, so this isn't from a place of hate, just facts. Dragon Ball GT being canon or not has always been a topic of speculation, and this recent development has made things even more complicated. Shueisha, the publisher for the Dragon Ball manga, released an official timeline of Dragon Ball, including all the events from Dragon Ball up until GT, which has given people the false impression that GT has now been made canon. First of all, canon and official do not mean the same thing. GT is an official part of the franchise, yes, it always has been, just like the video games and movies are officially made, but that doesn't make them canon either. Official just means it was created by the right holders with the proper licensing and copyrights. Unofficial material would be fan fictions, knockoffs, or anything of that sort. This article also states the reason GT is considered non-canon is because most fans dislike the series, which is an absolutely baseless claim. There's a lot of evidence to prove why it's non-canon, and it has nothing to do with the show's popularity. Let's go over the definition of the word canon when used in a literacy context. The works of a particular author or artist that are recognized as genuine. This would mean the man who created Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, would have to be the original creator of said material in order for it to be considered canon, and in the case of GT, he's not. He designed some characters and gave the name for the show, but he had zero presence in the writing room as it was written entirely by Toei Animation and not based off of any Akira's manga for source. Fans are confused thinking this official chronological timeline published by Shueisha decided that GT was canon, but that makes no sense. It's a chronological timeline of the anime, nowhere in it does it mention the word canon, as the entire canon debate is something more prominent in North America than it is in Japan. Rather, it sets the timeline periods of the established Dragon Ball anime. You don't just decide if something is canon or not. It wasn't created by Akira or based off of manga source material, therefore it's non-canon. I'm not sure how that's such a difficult concept to grasp. It's like how Dragon Ball Super introduced Broly as a canon character, which would obviously mean Z Broly is non-canon. Seeing as they're the same character, and nowhere during the movie do Goku and Vegeta go, "Wow, Broly is back!" They have no idea who he is because the Z movies aren't canon. The movies are also anime only, created by Toei with no manga source, which is the same case as GT. Akira states in an interview that the Z movies take place in an alternate dimension from the manga's main story, which is about as close to him saying it's non-canon as we'll get. He's also said the same thing regarding the awful live-action Dragon Ball Evolution movie. So no, the movies aren't canon, GT isn't canon, and obviously, neither is Dragon Ball Evolution. This article falsely claims Akira considers GT as canon with no source, and nothing he has ever said that I could find confirms this. I don't think Akira has ever even used the word canon in an interview. Now that I got that out of the way, I'm going to double down and go over some more reasons GT can't exist in the canon timeline. First of all, anything from the Dragon Ball manga is considered canon, which GT doesn't exist in. Like I mentioned already, the show is not created by Akira and he had limited involvement. Another big reason is the amount of inconsistencies between Super and GT. There's no mention or use of the new god forms, Ultra Instinct, or anything else from Super like Beerus and all the new characters in GT, because they didn't exist yet. Supreme Kai and Kibito unfusing in Super, whereas they are still the fused Kibito Kai in GT. The Pilaf gang get turned into children in Super from a wish by Shenron, whereas they're all old and leathery in GT. Super 17's existence in GT makes no sense, as Android 17 is a reformed good guy in Dragon Ball Super, and is also alive and well, whereas he was dead in GT. Finally, Cooler has a cameo appearance in GT after Hell Breaks Loose, which again wouldn't make sense since the Z movies are non-canon. Why would canon material reference non-canon material? Those are just a few examples off the top of my head, but I think that should be sufficient enough to prove why GT isn't canon. Just because it's non-canon doesn't mean it's bad. I still love the show for what it's worth, but I see a lot of people throwing around the canon title without really understanding what it means. I hope this video has cleared it up a bit. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, this has been Nickfamous. See you later.